All right. And so here's the next one. So Hans and Franz are in a shooting competition. The object of the match is to be the first to hit the bullseye of a target 100 feet away. The two opponents alternate turns shooting, and each opponent has a 40% chance of hitting the bullseye on a given shot. If Hans graciously allows Franz to shoot first, what is the probability that Hans will win the competition and take no more than 3 shots? And so just to keep track of it, basically, like all of this is saying is it's giving us a shooting order, which is Franz shoots first, then Hans, then Franz, then Hans, then Franz, and Hans has to have won by this point. Hans has to win, at the very least on his third shot. So what is the probability of this happening? Well, we can do casework on when Hans wins. So if Hans wins on his first shot, well, what's the probability of that? Well, this happens if Franz misses his first shot and then Hans hits his first shot. And so this happens with probability 3/5 times 2/5. Now, what about Hans winning on his second? And this is the 4th total shot. Another way to think about this problem is that there's just one guy who's practicing taking shots at a target. And he has a 40% chance of hitting the bullseye. And what is the probability that the first time he hits the target is on the 2nd, 4th, or 6th round? So we can actually think about it. We can think of it like that, or we can think of it, it's kind of, I don't know if it's worth it to do it. And so Hans winning on his second, and in our alternate setup, which is equivalent, it's first hit on the 4th. And so what's the probability that the first hit is on the 4th? Well, it's 3/5. That's the probability that they miss on any individual one, and they have to miss the first 3, and then they also have to hit the 4th. And so that's the probability of the first 3 missing and the 4th one being a hit. And then Hans has to have won on his third shot. So Hans, this is the last case. So Hans winning on his third, which is basically the probability that the first hit is on the 6th. And so that's the probability that the first 5 miss times the probability that the last one doesn't miss. And then, so these are the 3 possible probabilities. And you sum them up and you plug them into your calculator. And actually, yeah, I suppose it's probably easier to write these in percentages. Yeah, so the probability that he wins on the first is 0.6 times 0.4. The probability that he wins on the 4th is 0.6 cubed times 0.4. And the probability that he wins on the 6th is 0.6 to the 5th times 0.4. And so you sum those up. And so as like an exercise, I want you guys to try and figure out what is the probability of Hans winning just on any round. So what is the probability that Hans will win? Just in general, on any round. And on his, it could be on his 100th shot, what is the probability that Hans will win? There's actually a closed form. I didn't work it out previous to this, but I think so it's an extension of all of these, because the probability that Hans wins is also the probability that he wins on his first shot, plus the probability that he wins on his second shot, plus the probability that he wins on his third shot. I should put also, yeah, the answer was 0. The answer is 0.36 when you sum the first three. Okay. Yeah, so I'm just gonna start giving hints, I guess. So the probability that Hans wins at all is, oh no, like on any round, like what's the probability of Hans winning at all? That Hans will win the competition. Basically, it's this problem, except we don't have this condition. What is the probability that Hans will win the competition? Okay. And so yeah, let's start explaining it. So the probability that he wins is, the probability is the first probability, which is 3/5 times 2/5 plus 3/5 cubed plus 2/5 times 2/5 plus 3/5 to the 5th times 2/5, and so on. And then we can use our formula for geometric series, which is the first term is 6/25. So it's a over 1 minus r for infinite series. That's the formula. And so this first value is 6/25. So that's a, and over 1 minus r, the value of r is 3/5 squared. That's the ratio. So it's 1 minus 9/25. And this becomes 6 over 25 minus 9. This is equal to 6 over 16, which equals 3/8. And yeah, Alex got that right. Nice job. And so yeah, that's actually pretty close to 0.36. That's just the point I was going to make. So if Hans is going to win, he probably will have won by the third shot. It's because 3/8 is 0.375. They are very close already. Okay.